the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. Clerk, please note down and announce.
Orders 47, 48, and 100. Oral Minister's reply. Minister's reply to the report of the National Assembly Select Committee on Tourism, Arts and Culture, Youth and Sport visit to sporting facilities and tourism sites across the country, 17 to 25 October 2022, by the Honorable Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture.
Thank you, Clerk. Honorable members, after the adoption of the Select Committee on Tourism, Arts and Culture, Youth and Sports, visit to sporting facilities and tourist sites across the country from the 17th to the 25th of October 2022, in the previous session, the report was submitted to government and in particular the Honorable Ministers for Tourism, Arts and Culture and the Ministry of Youth and Sports, respectively, for their consideration and reply as per Order 100 of the Standing Orders of the National Assembly. Accordingly, the Honorable Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture is scheduled today for a reply to the report. May I now invite the Honorable Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture to the podium and make his statement.
Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly, honorable members, I read the report of the Select Committee on Tourism, Arts and Culture and Sports, Youth and Sports, and understood the report very well and appreciated the job that was done by honorable members. And the concern raised, well understood, and indeed, my ministry have already started in earnest to look at some of the recommendations by way of implementing them as soon as the resources, some of them deserve resources, and we're engaging the Minister of Finance, and some of the issues, in fact, we have already started discussing with the Finance Minister to see how best we can address them. One of them is the issue of the Mungo Park memorial sites that the contractor yet still to complete works on the project. Reason being, we didn't have the money to pay him to complete the job. And the finance minister have agreed to provide that money so that the contractor can be paid and complete the job. The other issue they raised is about the access road to the sites. That can only be dealt with in the 2024 budget, which of course will be before the honorable member for consideration and approval at the material time. The other issues also raised with regards to the works that's ongoing in the lodges that they visited, so to Masare, Kankiling, and of course the one in Bara. I'm happy to report that the Soto Masare one is completed. There was a variation regarding the fencing of the area, and the Gambia Tourism Board is in discussion with the GPPA to identify a contractor to fence the areas. And the one in Bara now also works is ongoing, and the ministry have requested the Gambia Tourism Board to provide funds to the contractor for him to complete that job. It's not been an easy task, but I think finally we're getting there with regards in these lodges. And the other issues raised, as far as I'm concerned, was the issue of Kintakunte Island, which is James Island as it is known to some of us. I think they talked about the disappearing of this great asset of our country. I want to inform the honorable members, out of the World Bank $68 million, almost $40-something million will be invested in the restoration of James Island. It is taking the chunk of the money. Subsequent governments have tried repeatedly to access funds to fix that island, unfortunately have not succeeded. But we succeeded in getting that money. So I can assure honorable members that there will be an international tender through the World Bank and the government of the Gambia for the Kunta Kinte Island to be restored to its originality. And I think that would be one of our greatest achievements as a government in preserving one of our greatest sites, which is, of course, a UNESCO site, heritage site. With regards to other sites, regard access to jetties, and the rest of it is all part of the component of the World Bank component. When we were negotiating this project, we decided to make sure that we put everything holistically before the World Bank. And that was, we thought it was a good idea, and of course, the World Bank bought in for it. And today that would address some of the issues that we have. Our ongoing works in making sure that some of our historic sites are covered. Some of them will be done by government because the Kirbach site was sponsored by the government of the Gambia in our normal budgetary allocation, which was in the national budget. Wasu, the same thing. The same thing with the issue of Mongo Park. So all other ones in the country, we've got an inventory of them, will be done through the government of the Gambia. However, there were some serious omissions that I've discovered that the committee did not take into account. And I just want to bring it to the attention of the committee. That is the Gambia Tourism Hospitality Institute, the training facilities that we have provided for our rural Gambians. That is the branches they have in Farafenni was not visited. Students were not approached. The branch that we have in Janjambure was not visited. It was also omitted. And I think we have trained so many people, but we still face some serious challenges where those trained, instead of staying in the rural area, despite of availability of job, they prefer coming down to the urban area. And that we still feel is a concern that needs to be addressed. Some of them get married and abandon the profession. They tend to leave, which is a natural thing, part of our tradition and culture we cannot avoid. Mr. Chairman, I must commend the committee for a job well done. And I think this type of visits, this type of jobs would also put us on the toes to make sure that the executive is aware of part of its responsibility to remind us what needs to be done and how it should be done. Mr. Chairman, Mr. Speaker, I'm ready to answer any question relating to the report because I have read the report throughout and understood all the contents of the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, pursuant to Order 48.6 of the Standing Orders, and I quote, after the statement has been delivered in the Assembly, a period of questions on the statement, which shall last no more than 1 hour, may then ensue. The Speaker shall determine the period taking into consideration the content of the statement, the number of members wishing to ask questions, and of course, the pressure of other businesses. We're going to continue for the adjournment debate, honorable members, immediately after this. May I now invite honorable members to ask questions relating to the minister's statement. We're starting with honorable member for Brikama North. That's the minority leader.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Honorable Minister for responding to the report of the committee. However, as a committee, I would put to the Honorable Minister. I know he said he has gone thoroughly over the report. But I advise that you take the points one by one for action point, because in terms of implementation, the committee will follow up the points one by one to ensure the implementation of each of them. I'm sure in your response we may not have covered everything precisely, but for the implementation, we will be actually following the points one after the other to ascertain or confirm the implementation. Where I did not get you dilating on is on the issue surrounding Fort Bullen. Fort Bullen is an historic site. Management of that particular site has been a concern to the committee. There are challenges, and how those challenges will be addressed, we would like you to shed light on that, as well as other historic sites. Maybe they are part of your response, but because you did not capture everything. That is the Cherbat Stone Circle and at Wasu. That was also another historic site where we faced
Honorable Member, why don't you ask one question at a time, and then
we are only limited to a question or something like that.
You asking questions one over at the end of the time. After yours, we will close up for another person. So yes, just ask a question, let him answer it, and somebody also is given a chance to ask another question.
Thank you very much. Then let me get the question from Fort Bullen. Honorable Speaker, among the recommendations that we made surrounding Fort Bullen, about 3 of them is the issue of incentive or financial support to the tour guides. Whether your ministry is considering to ensure the tour guides and the management that are at this particular site are given incentives for proper management of the site.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me say the member for Birkama North that yes, Fort Bullen was one of the areas that your committee talked about. Fort Bullen is a very sad story. It is a UNESCO heritage site, one of the few we have in the Gambia. But unfortunately, it was tampered with by the previous regime. They took cement, plastered the facility, the building, which is totally against UNESCO. And therefore, the ministry is now doing what it takes to make sure that it is restored to originality. And this require specialists in this area who are trained, who have the ability to restore sites to their originality. It costs a lot of money. We are trying to see how best we can squeeze this within the World Bank project to get experts to help restore Fort Bullen to its originality, because that cement that was applied on that wall could have even got the site be deregistered by UNESCO. However, government have communicated to them our intention to make sure that we deal with the issue of Fort Bullen. That's one thing. Secondly, the lodge that has been built there, we are providing boutiques around that area where those players would have access to those shops, would also be gaining revenue by making sure visitors who come there can spend the night in the lodge and yet still can buy some items, and tourists who come there will also buy some items. And the museum also there is under restoration. We are trying to rebuild it. The materials are kept safe, but you must understand that the law of the NCAC does not allow anybody to move any item beyond 80 meters without the approval of the President of the Republic. Because these are national assets that must be preserved. Whatever we do, we must do everything possible to work within the law, with the provision of the law. But I can assure you that we are doing everything possible to encourage those who are there. They've been trained, some of them have been trained. Some of them, when they are on their own volition, not even been trained, misinforming, misrepresenting visitors. And that's what the ministry is dealing with now. We had a situation like that in Wasu, and indeed in that place. So the ministry, the NCAC is now training tour guides who will understand the content and the historic aspect of those sites so that when people come to visit, they are given accurate information. The training has started, and we believe that in the next 6 months, 1 year, we'll have tour guides who are well trained, who understood and know very well the content of the environment that they are working with. But be rest assured that full blame is on top of government's priority because it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member for Central Badibu.
Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Minister is not giving us data as far as implementation of these projects are concerned. You talk about the works at Sotumasire, you said it's completed, then you talk about the fencing. You talk about Bara work is ongoing. If you say ongoing, at what percentage? We need to be informed. And you talk of Kunta Kinte Island. In 2018, there was a budget allocation for Kunta Kinte Island, revamping that island. Where is the fund? This National Assembly passed a budget on it. So you have to inform us. And if you look at Standing Order 100, it says, a minister who fails to submit a report under this standing order shall be deemed to be contempt of the National Assembly within the meaning of Section 75 of the Constitution. So, Honorable Minister, the information that you are giving us, it means you are speaking in parable. We want empirical data as far as the report is concerned. And your answers are not making us to learn anything.
Speaker.
All right, Honorable Minister. Honorable, can you be specific with your question?
My specific question is, he said the Bara works is ongoing. At what level? We need to be informed. The second part of the question is, James Island, he said he secured, first time in the history, Gambia secured international funding. But I'm asking him, what of the budget allocation that this National Assembly allocated for revamping James Island? We need to be informed about that.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let me put it abundantly clear to the Honorable Honorable Member for Central Badibu. I will be the last minister not to respect Parliament and parliamentary procedures. When I get into this chamber, I become emotional. It's a chamber that I have spent part of my political life. And I know I had players and friends and colleagues and loved ones. The likes of you, Abu Karamba Kasama, Tamsir Jallo, Musa Njados, many of them, who today have, some of them passed away. The Sidia Jatas, the Kemeseng Jammeh, the Halifa Salas, I can name a list of it. It's my greatest place to be when I come here. And I have the highest respect and regard for this August Assembly. So to intimate or try to impute that, I will totally disagree.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
I'm coming. Allow me to
the point of order. The Honorable Minister is deviating.
All right. When you put up a point of order,
Order 100.
you quote the relevant standing orders and then put up a point of order based on that.
Order 100.
Order 100.
The 101 is saying, within 30 days of a resolution of the National Assembly or adoption of any report of a committee, the minister under whose portfolio the matter raised in the report or contained in the assurance or resolution fall shall provide a reply to the National Assembly. We are not talking about Abu Karamba Kasama or Sidia Jata here. Give us the reply.
Honorable member, I think he's providing the response. I think he is responding to a standing order probably that you have quoted, and that's why he added those parts to it. But he's supposed to answer the question, and he will answer the question.
Let me continue by assuring the member for Central Badibu. The amount of money required to restore James Island can never be provided by the Gambia government. I totally disagree with him that there was money provided to restore James Island to its originality by this National Assembly, and I want you to bring me those figures before me. Bring me the figures. I totally disagree with you.
Honorable Minister, you speak to the Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I want to tell the honorable member what he is saying never happened. It did not. This assembly, this government did not provide money in 2018 for the restoration of James Island. Kunta Kinte now. Totally. The other question is, some of the issues raised have some financial implications. When it is not budgeted, you cannot get the money. This is the institution that is responsible of budgeting government resources, indicating how they are spent. What I can assure this assembly, in our next budget, some of the issues raised will be addressed in our budget to be presented to the Minister of Finance for onwards transmission to the National Assembly. Because we know that these are important national assets that must be restored and that must be cared for. Thank you.
Point of order. Point of order. Yes, 56.
56.
Yes. Honorable Speaker, I want to remind Honorable Minister. I say motion 56. Yes, I say 56. Let me put this.
Is it 5-6? 5-6. Yeah, motion on censor, okay. Which 56 what?
56A.
56?
1A.
1A.
Well, yeah, I will start from 1. Yes. Honorable Speaker, 1 reads, the Assembly may pass a motion of censure against a minister or a vice president, supported by 2/3 of all the members, on the grounds of his or her inability arising from any cause to perform the functions of his or her duty. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Minister is not giving us the information that I asked from him. I asked him about
Honorable member, your order is not sustained. Your point of order is not sustained.
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, can we now proceed to the member for Kiang West? We have a few more minutes to go and we are proceeding. Please, let's make maximum use of the time. Kiang West.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much.
Speaker. West. Huh? Please, Kiang West, take the floor.
Honorable Speaker, I'm on the floor. Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker. Lower Salve, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker. No. Yeah, member for Lower Salve.
Honorable Speaker, what? You have not said anything. Honorable Speaker, point of order, observation, or what?
Yeah.
Observation, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable member,
I mean clarification, Honorable Speaker.
Clarification on what?
Yes.
On what?
The member mentioned that the Honorable Minister...
Which member?
Central Badibu.
No, Honorable, please.
Honorable Speaker, allow me to complete.
Honorable.
Allow me to complete.
Honorable, the member for Central Badibu stood on a point of order and is ruled out. So whatever he said is ruled out. Yes, Honorable Member for Kiang West, please.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Minister, in your response, you've indicated that there is a World Bank project of 60 million. 68, perfect. And good chunk of that, 40 million plus, is going to be used for the restoration of Kunta Kinte Island. This money seems very huge. Could you shed light on the restoration of James Island? Because this money is very huge, and as well, the contract of this restoration, which company have you given it to?
Honorable Speaker, I'm happy to inform the Honorable Member for Kiang West, no contract has been given to. This will be an international tender administered by the World Bank, because every member of the World Bank will be entitled to apply. These are technical details with a lot of expertise that are necessary and needed to get this done. You know that 100%, there is no Gambian company that would have that capacity, even the equipment. So I cannot go give you details when I don't know exactly how the tender will be floated, what will be the requirement based on scientific specification that the experts may indicate. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Nyamina Dankunku.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, my question will come on the issue of the Mongo Park project. Yesterday, the minister made a parliamentary answer, and then today also he has made the same comment on this issue of Mongo Park. So I just wanted to find out, because a project, before a project is done, there must be a feasibility study done, then designing will be done, so far if there is any necessary tendering will be done. So I wanted to know, how was this project designed, knowing you don't have the financial capability? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, the Honorable Member for Nyamina Dankungu constituency. The contract was duly signed in accordance with the laws of the Gambia, executed through the National Center for Arts and Culture. The BOQ was done, the bill of quantity was properly designed, done, and executed. However, during the process of implementation, the money allocated by this assembly to us could not meet up the cost of this contract. Our allocation were cut down. We have one of the smallest budgets. I can also tell you, even by as we speak, we have less than 20% of our budget given to us by this August budget. So we couldn't pay because it was not there. What we have to do is to go and follow the minister to see how he can raise money for us through the member for Sami constituents who have been following us on this matter. And the minister agreed to provide the funds, as I said yesterday, for us to pay the contractor to complete this project. Thank you.
Honorable Member for Latrikunda Sabiji.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member for Nyamina West nearly took all the words from my mouth, but actually he didn't mention a very good aspect of it. Honorable Minister, projects start from feasibility studies, consultants get hired, prepare the request for proposal or request for quotation, then the bidding document. Now, what he did not ask you is, who is the consultant who has done the request for proposal or the feasibility studies? Because you cannot award a contract, civil works contract, without a consultant who who will be hired to do the design and the request for proposal. Who is this consultant, Honorable Minister? Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, I want to tell the member for Latrikunda constituent that I don't have the name of the consultant, but I can find out and give it to you. And I know that it went through due process as required by law.
Honorable Member for Jara Central.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, my question would be in relation to the people you train in the rural Gambia, until you made a mention of challenges that you had because they are leaving the rural Gambia, coming to the urban places for greener pasture. So what is your ministry doing, or what can your ministry do in order to retain these people to the various places you train them? Thank you.
Very important question, the Honorable Member for Jara Central. We are trying to engage some of the facility owners to increase their pace to these people so that they can be encouraged. The benefits that they enjoy from this part of the urban area can be enjoyed in the rural area. By way of that, we are trying to encourage them. And we also try to encourage investors to build more facilities in the urban area. In the rural area, so that we can discourage this rural urban drift. And I think a couple of members of parliament have approached us. And we are now encouraging some of our investors who are inquiring to invest in the provinces to make sure that they do a lot more investment, that we can retain these people who are trained. But sometimes it is difficult because it becomes a personal choice where you want to be and where you want to work. We can only make it possible by way of persuasion and encouragement.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member for Bakau.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, you talked about the ongoing project at Mongo Park. I'm sure you will agree with me that there is a problem with the access road to the park itself. Was this not an oversight on the side of the ministry to develop the park rather than concentrating on the access road?
The Honorable Member for Bakau, let me inform you. I have been there before you. It took me almost 1 hour plus walking on foot to access that site, prior to even considering rebuilding that site, because we were getting a lot of inquiries from Scottish citizens in Great Britain regarding this site. And I felt it was important government gets engaged and do something. I personally went there, and I know the difficulty in accessing that place, and I know the trouble I went through. But at the time, if we had wanted to include the road, when the money was not available, we will never get the site built. But when you build the road now, strategically, there must be access. And that's why we are now targeting, making sure in our next budget, we work with the Ministry of Works to make sure that that road is built. What standard they would build it, I cannot tell you. But be rest assured that you cannot have that facility built the way it is built when you don't have an access road. You know, in management, you need to draw strategies. If I were to sit and wait for the road to be built, I would never build that site. But once the site is built, there must be a road. So we are waiting for that. So when the budget comes to the Honorable Assembly here, we want you to support that process of making sure that this access road in that area, it is provided funds for, and we make sure that at least tourists will start visiting there by creating job restaurants and other facilities in that part of the Gambia. Thank you.
Okay. Honorable Member for Woodley East.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the Minister mentioned $68 million for the rehabilitation of James Island.
No, I mentioned 40.
40 million plus. Yes, my question is, this 40 million will be provided by the World Bank. Under what, is it a loan? Is it a grant? If it is not, from what source would this money be generated? And how soon will be?
Mr. Speaker, I want to inform the Honorable Member for Woodley East, my brother and friend. We struggled together since 1981, and we have a slogan called "The Struggle Continues," that it is a 100% grant to the government of the Gambia.
Thank you.
When we go to seek money, we seek for grants and not loans. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Sami.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the floor. Honorable Speaker, first of all, I will be unfair if I don't thank the committee for a job well done when they went to visit that area. We have visited the place during the 5th legislature, but this time also, the committee also took it upon themselves. They visited the area. And Honorable Speaker, this project was signed 29th April 2022. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, now what I want to ask, Honorable Speaker, is that the project is delayed, yes. But what I want to hear from the Honorable Minister is that which month is the contractor going to decide?
Honorable Speaker, I don't understand the real question of the member for Sami constituency, sir.
What I'm asking is that which month is the contractor now going to decide in order to complete the construction? Which month?
Mr. Speaker, I want to inform the honorable member for Sami constituency that once the contractor gets the money, he will deliver. He's one of the best contractors in this country. I can assure you that. If I can get the money from finance, and I'm very optimistic that I will get this money as soon as possible. You are every day in my office about this money. You know the pressure you're putting on me to get this money. As soon as the money is made available, the contractor will be paid and he will complete.
Honorable Member for Banjul South. Honorable Member for Banjul South is out. Honorable members, let me once again thank the Honorable Minister for his response to the motions tabled earlier, and honorable members for your questions and participation. Honorable Minister, thank you very much. I think we can now release you.